Let's get one thing straight. If your savings plan depends on willpower or memory, it's broken. In your 20s, you've got enough mental tabs open without trying to remember to move money into your savings account every month. You need systems, you need automation, not because you're lazy or bad with money, but because you're human, and humans default to convenience every single time. The secret: make saving money even more convenient than spending it. Here's what most people get wrong. They'll automate their bills, Netflix, phone, rent, but their savings, that's a maybe, a when I remember, or worse, and if there's something left over. That's not how you build wealth. You don't build financial security on leftovers, you build it with intention, and that means treating your savings like it's a non-negotiable bill, actually like it's rent for your future. When you automate your savings, you're paying your future self first. Before any of the money has a chance to get eaten by brunches, impulse shopping, or convenience fees, it's already where it needs to go, out of sight, in the right account, compounding in the background. You're putting distance between you and your excuses. Now let's talk about how to do this right. First, set up a high-yield savings account. Don't let your money sit in a basic checking account where it earns practically nothing. We're not here to make banks richer, we're here to make you richer. Pick a savings account that pays interest. There are plenty of online options with solid rates. This is where your automated savings should go. Next, set up the automation. Most payroll systems or banking apps will let you split your paycheck, one portion into your checking, the rest into savings. Don't make it a decision you have to make every month. Set it and forget it. Even if it's just $50 or $100 per paycheck, it adds up fast, and more importantly, it builds the habit. Still with me? Good, because here's where it gets powerful. Don't just automate savings into a general pile. Create sub-savings: emergency fund, travel fund, investment fund, freedom fund, whatever you care about, make a category for it. Most apps and banks let you split savings into different buckets. Why does this matter? Because clarity gives purpose. If you know that $100 is going toward a down payment on your future home, you're a lot less likely to dip into it for a weekend getaway. There's also a psychological advantage to automation. It removes friction. You're not constantly debating whether to save or spend. That decision is already made, and your default becomes wealth building instead of impulse buying. And yes, it works. The people who build wealth in their 20s aren't always making the most money. They're the ones who create invisible systems that grow their net worth behind the scenes. Think of it like this: if you're only saving what's left over, you're building your financial life on hope. Hope that you don't overspend, hope that nothing unexpected happens, hope that your emotions stay in check when you're bored or stressed. But when you automate your savings, hope turns into discipline. And discipline is what builds freedom. Now, here's the part where you might feel resistance. But what if I can't afford to save? That's exactly why you need to automate. If you wait until it's comfortable, you'll be waiting forever. Start small. Even $10 a week is a start. What matters is that you create the system and you build the muscle. Once your income grows, and it will, you're already operating from a place of financial intention, not reaction. Remember, in your 20s, you're laying the foundation for the next several decades. Compound interest is your best friend, but only if you give it time to work. Every dollar you save now has exponentially more power than money you save later. Automating that process is how you guarantee it happens. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Your savings strategy shouldn't rely on you waking up every month feeling motivated. It should rely on a system that runs whether you're paying attention or not. That's the secret. Make wealth your default setting. Automate your savings and let the money you don't see become the freedom you feel later. Start now. No excuses. Your future self will thank you, probably from a beachfront with a view. If you're in your 20s and your income just went up, new job, promotion, side hustle money rolling in, there's a dangerous voice that shows up almost immediately. It says, "You've earned this. You deserve to upgrade." That voice is what creates lifestyle creep, And if you're not actively fighting it, it will quietly rob you of financial freedom. Mastering the anti-lifestyle creep mind said isn't about being cheap. It's about being strategic. It's about separating your needs from your ego and learning how to delay gratification with purpose. Let's be real. More money should make your life better, but better doesn't always mean bigger, flashier, or trendier. Better means more options, more stability, and more control over how you spend your time. But lifestyle creep flips that. Instead of using that new income to build wealth, you inflate your expenses. Suddenly, the apartment gets an upgrade, the car gets fancier, the wardrobe gets trendier, and your bank account. It stays flat, or worse, it starts dipping into debt because the payments never stop coming. Here's the truth. Lifestyle creep feels good in the moment and costs everything in the long run. You feel successful because your life looks like it's leveled up. But looking successful and being financially secure are not the same thing. The anti-lifestyle creep mindset requires a complete shift. When more money comes in, don't immediately expand your lifestyle. Expand your margin. Grow your gap between what you earn and what you spend. That's where wealth is created. Think of your 20s as your financial training ground. Every decision you make with money now sets the tone for your 30s and beyond. If you give in to every upgrade now, you're building habits that are really hard to reverse later. But if you can hold the line, if you can say, just because I can afford it doesn't mean I need it, you're building discipline that compounds, and discipline is what buys you options. Here's a simple filter. When you get a raise, split it before you spend it. A portion goes to savings, another to investments, and only a small piece goes toward lifestyle upgrades, if any. You want to reward yourself, great. Do it in a way that aligns with your long-term goals, not just your short-term emotions. $1.50 monthly splurge feels just as good as $500 one. What matters is that you're choosing with intention, not reacting on autopilot. You also need to get clear on what your version of enough looks like. If you don't define it, the world will define it for you, and it'll always push you to want more. New phone, new car, new place, new clothes. It's a never-ending chase that eats your income without growing your future. When you live below your means, even when you don't have to, you're giving yourself the best gift possible, freedom, and let's not forget social pressure. Your 20s are filled with people flashing what they just bought, where they just traveled, and what lifestyle they are living. But here's a perspective shift. Some of the flashiest people are also the most stressed behind the scenes. Credit cards maxed out, no savings, no exit plan, and here you are, playing the long game, building assets, stacking cash, and living on less than you make. That's real power, even if nobody claps for it right now. The anti-lifestyle creep mind said is also about learning the difference between comfort and excess. You don't have to live like a monk, but you also don't need to inflate your life every time your paycheck goes up. Find your baseline, build a simple, joyful, efficient life, and then scale your investments, not your liabilities. One powerful tactic: when your income increases, pretend it didn't. Keep your expenses the same for 6 months and funnel the rest into savings or debt payoff. You'll be shocked at how fast your financial position strengthens. You'll also realize something powerful. You don't need every upgrade the world is trying to sell you. You just need control. Because here's the thing, one day you might want to take a career risk, travel long term, or buy back your time. If lifestyle creep has taken over your finances, you won't have that option. But if you've stayed lean, stayed intentional, and mastered this mindset early, you can make those moves without fear, and that is what success actually feels like. Mastering the anti-lifestyle creep mind said isn't about denying yourself forever. It's about delaying gratification with purpose, using self-control as a strategy, and making choices that serve you 5 years from now, not just 5 minutes from now. Get good at that, and your 30s won't just be comfortable. They'll be powerful, they'll be free. In your 20s, the best investment you can make isn't in stocks, crypto, or real estate, it's in you. The return on investment from developing high income, high leverage skills is unmatched, especially early on. Why? Because those skills compound over time. They create income opportunities, open doors, and give you leverage in every negotiation. Before you start obsessing over which index fund to buy, make sure you've maxed out the thing that drives your earning power, your brain, your habits, and your ability to solve valuable problems. Too many people in their 20s jump straight into traditional investing without first investing in what drives real income growth, skills, and that's backwards. You're not trying to squeeze a 7% return out of the market when you could be making a 100% or 500% return by learning how to sell, lead, market, code, write, speak, build, or build relationships. Pick any career path. Skills are what separate average from excellent, broke from wealthy. Here's the formula. Spend your early years aggressively acquiring skills that make you valuable. That might mean paying for courses, attending workshops, hiring a coach, or spending time after your 9-5 learning something your job won't teach you. It's not glamorous and nobody will cheer you on, but it's the most powerful thing you can do to increase your earning ceiling. The more skills you have, the more problems you can solve. The more problems you can solve, the more money you can make. Simple. Now here's where people get stuck. They don't see the immediate payoff. They take a course and expect a raise next week. They read a book and expect their business to boom overnight. That's not how it works. Skill building is about stacking small advantages over time. You might not feel the shift right away, but give it 6-12 months, and you're suddenly negotiating better salaries, closing more deals, or running side projects that make real money. And once you've built the skills, that's when you start moving into long-term investing. That's when index funds come into play. The key word here is after. Get your income up, then automate and allocate it wisely. Index funds are boring on purpose, and that's what makes them powerful. You're not trying to time the market or pick the next hot stock. You're playing a long, disciplined game, low fees, broad exposure, and consistent contributions. People overcomplicate investing because they're looking for a shortcut, but the real flex is consistency. Once you've got a steady stream of income from the skills you've built, put that money to work without thinking about it. Set up a Roth IRA or 401k, and if you're self-employed, open a solo 401k or SEP IRA. Choose a total market or S&P 500 index fund, automate your contributions, and then go back to working on your skills. That's the cycle. Grow your income, grow your investments, repeat. Don't get distracted by noise. You don't need 10 different apps or a bunch of speculative plays. You need discipline and automation. Every dollar you invest in a low-cost index fund is buying you freedom. Freedom from financial stress, from job dependency, from a future filled with what-ifs. But again, none of that works if you're not earning enough to invest in the first place. That's why the order matters. Skills, then funds. And here's the part nobody tells you. Investing in skills also increases your confidence. You walk into rooms differently when you know you can deliver value. You take bigger risks. You don't panic during layoffs or economic downturns because you know you can pivot. That kind of confidence is priceless, and it's built, not born. So if you're in your 20s, stop trying to shortcut your way to wealth. Build the foundation first. Choose 1 or 2 high leverage skills and go all in. Learn faster than everyone else. Apply what you learn. Find mentors. Get feedback. Build projects. Then, when your income starts growing, don't let lifestyle creep eat it. Funnel it straight into boring, powerful index funds and let compound interest handle the rest. This is the formula. Invest aggressively in your skill set, then invest passively in the market. One builds your earning power, the other builds your wealth. Stack them, and your 30s won't be about survival. They'll be about options. That's the real game. That's how you win. Cred, it is not your enemy. but it can become one if you let your emotions control how you use it. In your 20s, credit is a powerful tool when you know how to use it strategically, but most people don't get taught that. They get lured in by shiny plastic cards, seductive point systems, and the feeling of having access to money that isn't really theirs. Before they know it, they're in a debt cycle, paying interest on dinners they don't even remember eating. That's emotional credit use, and it's expensive. Using credit strategically means stepping back and recognizing that credit is not free money. It's a trust system, it's a scorecard, and it's one of the most misunderstood assets you'll ever manage. Your credit score doesn't just determine your ability to borrow, it affects your ability to buy a home, rent an apartment, get a car, sometimes even land a job. It's not something you want to destroy in your 20s and fix in your 30s. You want to start clean, start smart, and build intentionally. First rule, never carry a balance you can't pay off in full every single month. Credit cards are not meant to be used like loans. They're meant to be a convenience tool, a leverage play. You get the benefit of rewards, fraud protection, and credit building as long as you're disciplined. But the moment you start using a credit card to cover a shortfall in your budget, you're not using credit, you're using denial, and denial is expensive. Set a system. Use your credit card for fixed expenses you've already budgeted for groceries, gas, subscriptions, but automate the full payoff every month. Don't wait for motivation. Don't guess what your balance is. Build a system that makes good behavior automatic. Emotional spending usually happens in moments of stress, boredom, or ego. Strategic credit use happens when you're calm, focused, and intentional. Another smart move in your 20s, keep your credit utilization low. This means using only a small percentage of the credit available to you. Under 30% is good, under 10% is excellent. Why? Because your credit score isn't just about whether you pay on time. It also tracks how much of your credit you're using. If your card limit is $5,000 and you're constantly hovering around $4, $500, even if you pay it off, you look risky. Keep it low and you look in control. Also, don't get suckered into the credit card reward trap. Yes, points and cashback can be a perk, but only if you're already spending money you'd spend anyway. Never justify a purchase because you'll get points. That's emotional logic, and it will mess you up. You don't need a luxury vacation paid for by debt. You need financial discipline paid for by strategy. Let's talk about building credit smartly. Start with one card, preferably a no-fee card with decent benefits. Use it consistently and pay it off automatically. After 6-12 months, consider asking for a credit limit increase. This boosts your available credit, lowers your utilization, and improves your score, all without changing your behavior. That's how you build quietly and powerfully. Also, length of credit history matters. So once you've got a good card, don't close it, even if you upgrade to a better one later. Keep that account open to show consistency and longevity. Credit history is like a relationship. You want the oldest one on your report to be strong and drama-free. Now, emergencies happen, that's life, but credit should not be your emergency plan. Your emergency fund is your first line of defense. Credit is your backup to the backup. If you dip into it, fine, but have a plan to pay it off immediately. The longer you let debt linger, the harder it becomes to get ahead. Every dollar going to interest is a dollar that's not building your future. And please, don't co-sign for anyone in your 20s. Not a friend, not a boyfriend, not your cousin. You're just getting your financial life off the ground. Protect your name, your score, your future. There is no refund on bad decisions, and co-signing is one of the fastest ways to inherit someone else's chaos. Bottom line, credit is a game, and if you don't learn the rules, you will lose. But if you learn to use it strategically, it becomes a tool for freedom, not fear. Treat your credit like your reputation. Build it slowly, protect it fiercely, and never put it in the hands of your emotions. You're not here to impress people, you're here to own your future, and strategic credit use is part of that ownership. Waiting until you feel ready to build multiple income streams is one of the most expensive delays you can make in your 20s. Most people think they need to be experts, have extra time, or have everything perfectly aligned before they diversify their income. That mindset keeps them stuck. The truth, you build income streams before you feel ready so that when you need them, they're already in motion. The job market is unstable, layoffs happen, industries shift. Companies restructure. If all of your income comes from a single paycheck, your entire financial security is built on someone else's decisions. That's risky. Building multiple streams of income isn't just about making more money, it's about creating options, stability, and resilience. And the best time to start is when you're still learning, still scrappy, and still flexible. Right now. Now let's be clear, this isn't about launching 5 businesses overnight. It's about recognizing that your income potential doesn't have to live in one place. Maybe your 9-5 pays the bills, that's fine, let it be your foundation, but ask yourself, what skills, knowledge, or assets do you already have that could start generating value elsewhere? Maybe it's freelancing your existing expertise. Maybe it's creating a product or service around something you're passionate about. Maybe it's content. Maybe it's consulting. Start small. Start smart. Just start. Too many people overcomplicate this. They wait for the perfect business idea or the right amount of free time. But momentum matters more than mastery. The sooner you get in the game, the faster you learn what works, what doesn't, and how to improve. You're not trying to become a millionaire overnight. You're trying to build muscle, income muscle, and that requires reps. Here's the beauty of building income streams in your 20s. Your cost of living is usually lower. You're still forming habits. You have time on your side, even if you're only making an extra $2. $100, $500 a month from a side hustle, that's not small. That's student loan payments, that's savings, that's investment capital. That's momentum, and it stacks. Once you prove to yourself that you can earn money outside of your job, your entire mindset shifts. You stop thinking like an employee, you start thinking like a producer. Let's say you freelance on the weekends, or maybe you start an Etsy shop, or tutor online, or launch a digital product. None of that has to replace your job, it complements it. It gives you leverage. Over time, it creates the freedom to walk away if something no longer aligns with you. That kind of freedom doesn't show up overnight, but it doesn't show up at all if you never take the first step. And here's the kicker. Building multiple income streams teaches you more about business, money, and self-management than any course ever will. You'll learn how to price your time, you'll learn how to market, you'll learn what real value exchange looks like, and more than anything, you'll learn how to bet on yourself. That skill alone is worth everything. Will it be uncomfortable at first? Yes, you'll doubt yourself. You'll feel like you don't know enough. You'll compare yourself to people who are years ahead of you. Do it anyway. The discomfort is part of the process. Everyone starts unsure. The ones who succeed are simply the ones who didn't wait to feel confident before they moved. They let action build clarity, not the other way around. Multiple streams don't just protect your present. They multiply your future. Think about it like this. Every additional stream of income, no matter how small, is one less reason you have to say yes to things you hate. One step closer to work on your terms. One layer of insulation between you and financial panic. Your 20s are your training ground. This is where you learn to create, not just consume, to build, not just clock in, to earn from who you are, not just what role you're assigned. Don't wait until life forces you to get creative. Build before you have to. Diversify before you feel ready. That's how you stay ahead. That's how you create true security. And remember, the goal isn't just more income. It's smarter income, sustainable income. Aligned income. Start small, stay consistent, build early, and watch what happens when your income stops depending on one decision. Maker and starts depending on you.